Alright, so this is where this video is going to start. As you can see, we're outside. This is my back deck. And as you can see, I have no furniture on this back deck. But I'll show you what I do have. Now, like I said, I don't have any outdoor furniture for my back deck. But I do have 1,008 packages of ramen noodles. That is 21 48 packs. So I'm sure if you're like me, you've probably seen all this trend going around YouTube where people are taking ramen noodles and they're fixing things like tables and stools and chairs and even a toilet, I think I saw, and they're putting super glue on them and like sanding them down and doing all this stuff. So I saw all that and I figured, why don't I step it up a notch? Why don't I make furniture with ramen noodles rather than fixing it? So I'm sure what you're thinking is that's probably a little bit ambitious. And how do you plan to do that? And the answer is, I don't really know, but I'm gonna try to figure it out as I go. But what I can tell you is that I have an industrial glue gun, about 1,500 glue sticks, and 1,000 packages of ramen noodles. So let's get started. So I'm no expert in ramen noodle construction, and chances are neither are you, but I'm gonna say the first step is probably gonna be to unwrap these and just see what we're working with. So there's 48 in this box, so I'm gonna unwrap these. I have this box that I'm gonna put the seasoning packets in because I just don't feel like throwing them away and they could have some type of a use. If there's anything that you wanted to see me, that you would like to see me do with the seasoning packets, leave a comment down below because off the top of my head, I don't really know what to do with them, but I am gonna save them. One down, 47 to go. Well, I got done unwrapping all those, as you saw, and I had to go change shirts because it is 9,000 degrees in this garage, and my other one was completely soaked with sweat. So, here's where we're at. I have them all unwrapped, and I think, as one would expect with building things with ramen noodles, I think I've hit my first roadblock. Because, as you can see, the way these noodles are made is, well, I don't know exactly how they're made, but each thing of noodles is folded in half. You can see it goes up and it's folded in half. So then you have each one of these sides right here, and not all of these, and then you have this side that's rounded from the fold. So not all of these sides are flat like this one. This one's actually pretty good. But whenever you get one that's, even if it's flat, kind of like this one, even whenever they're both pretty flat, whenever you put them together, you can see there's still huge gaps in the middle, and there's not much room for the glue to go, and you need a lot of glue to fill up these gaps. What I was gonna do is I was going to glue them like this, so that way it'd be like an angle. So this way it would be like a right angle, and then I would just stack more on top of these like this. So it'd just go like this, and then so on and so forth, all the way to the top. And then of course I would do that 4 times. And then I could make like a platform and then glue that to the top of these to make a tabletop, and then I'd have a table, and these would be the legs. But I don't think that's going to be possible with the way these just don't line up, and I don't think that doing it like this is just going to be strong enough. So what I'm thinking is I want the tabletop to be roughly 30 inches off the ground. So when you measure these, each one of these packs of noodles, I don't know if you can see that, that might be upside down. Each one of these packs of noodles is pretty much exactly 1 inch. So that at least makes that math easy, and that means that I can just stack these on top of each other, and then I can just glue right here, stack them on top, and get 30 packs for each leg. And then I guess what I'm gonna have to do is, for the tabletop, and then you get ones like this that are kind of just deformed and stuff. So I guess I'm gonna have to do the best I can for the legs, and then for the tabletop, I'm just gonna have to, I don't even know yet what I'm gonna have to do for the tabletop. Maybe stack them together, maybe 2 at a time, and then just coat the whole thing in glue and just see what I can do. But hopefully I have enough glue. So the second problem that we're gonna have, besides the ramen noodles not being very glue friendly, is this glue gun that I have is an industrial glue gun. So it takes, which I guess I didn't think about this, just like I probably didn't think that ramen noodles wouldn't be a very good building material, that it would take very long glue sticks. Well, all I have are like 1,500 of these short ones. So as you can see, these aren't very long. And every time that you squeeze the handle, like 3 squeezes is one whole glue stick. So, at least for the time being, what I did to try to help is I glued 2 of the glue sticks together, so I can at least have some that are twice as long. But I'll probably save those for the more delicate parts so I don't have to keep feeding glue sticks into this thing. Alright, now let's start gluing ramen noodles together. Alright, small update on my progress. I have 20 of these, 20 sets of these glued up. And now I'm just going to start taking these and then gluing these together. And then I'll have so many sets of these, I'll have 10 sets of these, and then I'll glue those together. Then I'll keep doing that until I have all 4 legs. And just so you don't get bored, we'll just get back together whenever I have all 4 legs done. Alright, I know I said I would come back whenever I had 4 table legs made. That is not the case. There has been a slight change of plans. So what I'm realizing is that to make a table with a 30-inch tall table was a bit ambitious with nothing but ramen noodles and hot glue. So because what I'm having to do is, with every single square of noodles, I'm having to put glue on the top and then put the next one on top of that, and then eventually build it up to this, which this is going to be the final height of the table that I build. And then I'm having to turn it on its side and then put glue in between every single pack just to make it strong enough that it doesn't fall apart. So I'm 100% positive that if I go super ambitious like I planned and try to do a 30-inch tall table, which each leg is going to be double the size of this, then it's going to be just so brittle it falls apart. Or if it doesn't fall apart, then once I make the tabletop and put the tabletop on top of it, I won't be able to move it without just breaking the legs off. So what I'm going to do is I already have 2 of these made, this one and this one right here. So I'm just going to make 2 more. And then this is just going to be the final height of the table, which is, it just is what it is. It's going to be smaller than what I anticipated. But it's pretty much just going to resemble a table about this size, the size of this white table. But I'm doing the best I can. I mean, I'm working with ramen noodles and hot glue. So you can't really expect too much. But I'm going to get started on making 2 more legs like this, and then I'll come back whenever I'm ready to start making the tabletop. So it's been probably about 7 hours or so since I started this entire project, and I just want to give you an up-close view of what it is exactly that I'm dealing with when trying to build with ramen noodles. So, like I said before, you can see each one of these. Maybe this one will be a good example. You can see how it kind of goes down and then loops around. Each one is just like a sheet of noodles that is then folded in half and then put into a package. So what I'm dealing with is the best way, what I've found is the best way that these noodles, whenever you're going to glue them, the best way that they fit on top of each other is if all of the rounded folds are the same, are going the same way. That's the way that they fit the flattest that I've found. But, so that way they get glued good this way, but what I'm running into is this. Like you can see over here, you can see it kind of wants to break off here, and then it wants to break off here, and then it wants to break off here. So each one of those is just like a hinge that just sits there and tries to break. So what I've had to do for each one is this right here. I have to, find that's a weak spot. Take my glue gun, spray a bunch of glue in here, reload. Okay, this is another weak spot. Put a bunch of glue in here. And then what I gotta do is just set them like this. What I've been doing is taking a brick and just trying to set that on top of there, so that way it'll kind of smash it down and get a good glue. But anyway, I'm about, I'd say probably 95% done with the legs. I just have 2 of these that are done that I have to then glue them together, and then I'll have all 4 legs finished. And then we'll come back and I guess I'm gonna start trying to map out a tabletop. I have no idea how I'm gonna do that yet. So all 4 of the legs are done, or they're not done, they're at least drying. It's time to start mapping out the tabletop. So I was thinking, and I know that since I'm working with such an advanced material, it's probably gonna be a very good idea to draw out a blueprint, so that way I can have something that I can follow, because I don't want it to be all jagged and weird. I'm definitely gonna draw a blueprint so that I can follow that. So this is initially what I'm thinking for this blueprint. So you have 4 legs, right? So each leg is gonna be, you know, kind of coming down like this. So when you think of a tabletop, you think of a square that's gonna meet each leg. So I think the blueprint needs to be something like this. So I think that's a good print that I can follow. All right, so now that I have my blueprint, let's start building. So as you can see, I have 5 squares of the ramen noodles laid out, and pretty much what I've decided is I think the top should be 5 by 5. Roughly. But you have all these gaps. So I can't really, I mean, I could pile glue onto here and then like just hope that I can stick these together, but that's really not a very good plan. So kind of what I'm thinking, I can lay these out, get a 5 by 5. I have a 5-gallon bucket, and I have quite a few of these ones that were just like broke or just like misshaped or whatever. So I'm thinking if I put all those in the bucket and then crush them all up and just get like almost like a powder, then I should be able to, once I have all this laid out, I should be able to just sprinkle all that stuff in these little crevices. The glue is extremely hot, so it's real liquidy, so it just runs, and it'll run in between the joints and in between all those crushed little pieces of noodles. And then when it dries, hopefully it'll strengthen it up, and then I can flip this whole thing over and then do it again on the other side and have a nice strong tabletop. But I guess we'll see how that works out. Alright, now that I've got all this laid out, and I think I've got it pretty much to where we're going to have as small of a gap as possible, let's crush some noodles, pour it in here, and start gluing. Got a bucket full of noodles, sledgehammer, alright, now everything's pretty much crushed into this kind of a thin, powdery type stuff, so that should be perfect. So, like I said, now that we have this bucket of basically just like crumbles, we're just gonna build it up into the spaces. Now this might be like a crazy idea, and this might not even work whatsoever, but it kind of makes sense to me that it would work. But then again, we're building a table with ramen noodles here, so this is pretty experimental. So you can see here, this is the spots that I've glued, and I've pretty much decided that I really need this to work. So what I think I'm gonna do, or what I more than likely will do, is I think I'm just gonna fill in all these gaps with the crushed noodles, and then I'm pretty sure I have enough glue that I think I'm just gonna cover this whole backside in hot glue. So that way, there's no way that it's gonna fall apart, because I really need this to work. I should have enough glue that I can just cover the whole thing. So let's get started. So as you can tell, I just went ahead and just covered this entire thing in glue, the whole thing. So and now it should be dry. So what I want to do is now where all the noodles meet together on the other side, I would like to flip this thing over and then fill in all those cracks with glue, and then let that dry, and then that should give it enough strength that I should be able to put the legs on, hopefully. Go ahead and try to flip this thing over. This is actually, wow, that actually went way better than I anticipated. All right, well that was easy. So now I'm just gonna take my hot glue and fill in all these cracks, and let all that dry, and then we'll put the legs on. So I'm just sitting here trying to figure out how I'm gonna put the legs on this table, because the top of it's done and the legs are done, but I'm just trying to think of the best way to connect the two without having the whole thing come crumbling down. I really just don't think that I'm gonna be able to glue the legs on here and then flip it back over without it crunching the table or breaking the legs. I think the best option would probably be to set the legs up, put the glue on the legs, and then set the tabletop on top of the legs. But then I have to try to squeeze out 4 legs worth of glue real fast, and the glue gun, I don't know if it can do that or not. Actually, I have a piece of plywood, and I can lay that piece of plywood down and then use like some of the bricks or something to support each leg, and then I can just kind of deal with the glue gun issue and put the glue on top of each leg, and then set the table down while it's on the plywood, so that way once it's done and dried, I don't ever have to really move the table too much. I can just carry the whole piece of plywood out to the back deck. I think that is a very good idea. And now I present you with a table made completely of ramen noodles and hot glue. That's it, nothing else. Everything is now completely dry, and sadly I don't think this thing is gonna make it outside. Actually, I've pretty much already decided that this thing is not gonna make it outside. You can see just how flimsy this thing is. I really don't think there's a way to even really move it off this table without breaking something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera, give you guys a close-up of everything, and then we're going to do something special. You can see all the hot glue stacked inside of all the creases. And you can see all the stacks for legs. You can see how much glue is in some of these stacks, like that one. It's just kind of barely holding on to the tabletop there. Like I said, it's just completely covered all over the place in hot glue. And now I'm gonna do something that I will probably never get to do again in my entire life. I get to eat a bowl of ramen noodles on a table made of ramen noodles. That tastes so much better when you're eating it on a table made of ramen noodles. Alright guys, well that's pretty much the end, but I know all you guys want to see me try to get this thing outside, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to see if I can get this thing outside without breaking it. Let's open the door. Oh, this might actually be possible. Oh. I made it. Now scoop this thing. Oh, that's good. It's right there. All right, guys. So we actually did it. We made a table out of ramen noodles and got it to the back deck. We completed the mission. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe. I make videos every Saturday at 5 p.m. and I will see you in the next one.